I procrastinate a lot. I don't think I've ever really fully applied myself. And when I look back at things that I've done, even if they're good things, even if I achieved a lot, I still look back at it as like, oh, I could have done better. I could have done more. I could have done this, whatever. And I have some sort of regret over that. And I think this is relatable. I see a lot of people kind of not pushing themselves, including me. And it's really interesting because I always give myself this excuse that I could have done so much better. I'm capable of so much more. My potential is unmatched. But in reality, that doesn't matter. You could have the most potential possible. You could be fucking Jesus. But if you don't take the action, if you don't actually apply yourself, it's all for nothing. And what's worse is that someone that sucks at everything, has zero potential, but just applies themselves as much as they can to their full abilities, they are getting more out of life than the person who has endless potential but doesn't apply themselves. Because the person that's pushing themselves as hard as they can is happy. They're being useful as much as they can. They know that they're getting the most out of everything, and that's honestly what matters. But the person that has the endless potential but doesn't apply themselves know that deep down they could have pushed themselves harder every single time. And that gets to you. It gets to me. And I'm sick of not applying myself. I'm sick of giving myself excuses and then looking back on it like I could have done better. And I think partly that's just living in the present moment, not looking back and regretting stuff, and not being too preemptive with stuff that's happening in the future. And then also not comparing myself to others as I'm doing things, just going, I know I can do this much, I'm gonna go and do it. Or I'm pushed to the limit, I'm thinking about giving up, I'm just gonna keep going. And like running is a really good example. I struggle to push myself past my limits in running. I'm decently fast, like more long distance stuff. I'm reasonably fast, but I'm not competitive because I get to a certain point where shit starts to hurt and my brain just tells me to slow down, and I listen to it and I go back to an average pace instead of pushing through that pain, because that's all it really is. It's not injury, it's not fitness, it's just pain. And I don't push myself past that point. And in doing so, I reach that limit. So my body's actual potential might be here, but I reach my limit about here, and I don't try and push it past at all. I just sit comfortably in that zone. And maybe if I had applied myself every time I ran, if I really pushed that limit slowly, it would build up until that limit is where it should be. And that's the same for everything. If I had applied myself in school for the last 5 years, because I really haven't, if I'm being completely honest, I have done the bare minimum, and I've still done all right. I've still done decent. I'm a bit like a B+ student. But if I had really applied myself, if I apply myself completely now till the end of year 12, which I'm about to reach halfway, which is fucking nuts, but if I apply myself completely now, my potential could be up here. But because I've spent the last 5 years not doing anything, my limit right now might be here. And because I've only got half a year left, I'm only going to increase that limit to like here. So I have all this potential that is just never going to get realized. And I can say to myself, I can give myself that excuse that I am capable of all that. I have that potential. I'm smart, I'm good at doing schoolwork. But in reality, it's just not true. Because you can think what you want. You can think however the fuck you think you are. You can say you're top shit. You can say you're the best at something. But in reality, it's the actions that define you. If you think you're an A+ student, if you think you're capable of getting A+, but you're getting A's, or you're getting B's, you're not an A+ student, no matter how much you think you are. And I'm one of these people. I think like it's weird to say, but I think I'm smart. I think I can get A's and A pluses if I apply myself, but I don't. So I'm not smart enough to get an A plus, even though my potential might be, if I had worked over the last 5 years, I could get an A plus. I mean, I don't know. We can't say for certain, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your potential is. It doesn't matter how you think of yourself. It's purely the actions. And this can go the other way as well. You could think of yourself as a D or a E student, F student, failing person in general, failing at anything. You could say you're shit at something. You could say you're shit at soccer, shit at a sport, anything. Just picture something that you say you're not good at. For example, I sometimes feel like I'm not a confident person, but if you look at the actions that it takes to be a confident person, to be good at something, to be a good soccer player, a good student, it's simply the result, it's simply the actions. And if you're getting those actions, even if you're not doing amazing, say you think you're shit at soccer, but you're okay, or you think you're really bad at school and you're failing, but you're getting C's and B's, you're not as bad as you think you are. It's just in your head. Or for me, if I think I'm not a confident person, but I go up and talk to people, I go say hi, I go mess around, whatever, laugh, joke with friends, all that stuff is actions that confident people take. So even though my perception of myself is that I'm not confident, I'm not exactly right. And it's better to judge yourself on your actions, but even to have a positive view on this stuff. So even if I don't act like a confident person, thinking that I am and saying, you know what, it's worth a try. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to take the action regardless of if I am or not. And eventually you'll build up that identity. So if you're shit at soccer, you're shit at something, you're shit at school, if you take those actions, like smart students study, good soccer players train, confident people go up and talk to people, like there's actions that need to be taken. And if you don't do them, you're not going to be confident. You're not going to be good at that thing. You can be okay. You can get by. Like I get by at school, but I could be an A plus student, but I don't take the action. I don't study as hard as I should. I don't put as much work in at school. Like I mess around. There's all these factors that play into that. But like being modest here, I think I'm an alright soccer player because I've put so much effort and action into it. So define yourself not by your self-perception, but by the actions that you take. And if you don't have that action, just convince yourself that you are and start taking those actions right now, man.